Hello there YouTube, I'm Wheelchair21 and on today's rolling review, we're going to be looking at the Tamashii Nations Bandai Collector's Shop S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Genm Zombie Gamer Level X. Yep, I finally got it in like a couple of months ago. I got it for pretty much retail since I had a friend pre-order it for me and he finally got it to me. And as you can see, box is pretty simple, pretty small, and does come with that badass brown exterior box. Our interior features our actual figure for Kamen Rider Genm, 5 pairs of additional hands, as well as underneath features his one accessory in the Gashikan Sparrow. Now this one accessory here actually is able to split apart and become the actual Kusari or your Seiss. And yeah, pretty much pretty tight, packed figure and low accessory count, but let's see how it overall holds up as a premium Bandai Webshop exclusive. Now we have our figure out of the box, and freaking Shinkuroto Dan, Kamen Rider Genm Zombie Gamer, looks freaking sexy. It is one hell of a badass beast. Now there are a few issues with the figure, but none of it actually pertains to, I would say, the overall body, at least most of the body. A bit of the issues with this figure come with either the overly loose, removable Bugster driver on his torso. This is a little loose. The actual fact that these little bone pieces right here actually are able to sway and move. Like, I thought I broke the figure my first time taking it out of the package because these little pieces actually move like window wipers. Like, I freaked the hell out and I thought it was broken or busted. And a little bit of the eye just seems a little mismolded, but I've heard that's an issue that a lot of the P-Bandai X-Aid figures are having right now, or that their eyes are either a little too big or just a little sculpted too wrong. But the overall articulation is really solid. Like, I feel like each piece of this character is a lot firmer than a lot of the more retail releases we've gotten over the past few months and years. I just think that sometimes when it comes to P-Bandai releases, one of the best things they do is not just the accessory count, but have a better, not just accessory count or details put into the figure, is that they overall work harder to make sure the mold stays pretty stable, firm, and fit. Like, there's not too much torque or not too much friction or too loose of joints. Like, I really feel like the overall system of the skeletal mold is all there. Like, I think that everything is where it needs to be for having a nice movable figure. I think also the details, like the torso, the actual spinal cord, the overall spikes to his arms, the silver in his overall areas here from his forearm to his actual silver hand, that even in the show I rarely notice that this left fist is entirely silver, is just marvelous. I even love the fact that there is a slight little crack and break in this clear chest paneling to show his life gauge, destroyed and just fractured. There is a small crack. It's very hard to pick up on camera, but I really do love it. I really do love a lot of the details put into this. And I think that the overall, like I said, figure is one of the more solid releases. And it's such a shame that this had to be an exclusive, but it kind of made sense as to why it would be an exclusive, due to the fact that the overall popularity of this character and form would make them want to go, hey, if we really want to get more bang for our buck, make this an item that's on demand, so just in case X-Aid doesn't do good when it comes to overall figure sales, we still make our money back. And that's kind of the only shame about this, is that this was regulated to P-Bandai due to the overall popularity, and they wanted to make sure it met the supply-demand ratio kind of thing, rather than just having it possibly being a shelf warmer and, a failure at retail or mass production. Or accessory count being that it's only the Gashikan Sparrow, it is, expected. I mean, this was kind of the only weapon Genm even used after he stole it from Laser, and the fact that it is separable is pretty cool. Now, the only issue about it is a little cod piece that they put into it to make sure that it locks into place when it is your actual Sparrow or Arrow mold is great, but also kind of flawed. Now, some people might not be able to see this on the camera, but it actually kind of cracked the mold in the frame, And when people are assembling it in the factory, they kind of put it in wrong, and they put the B side facing outwards and the inside, because the holes are, even though they're almost identical, are slightly mismolded, so it latches onto this and keeps it firmly in place. So when I got it, the part that was supposed to plug into A was actually plugged inwards on B, and it made it that this thing would keep popping in and out. So like, as you can see, if you plug it in one way, it might plug onto one side or plug onto the other. But overall, it is, a solid weapon release, because they made it be able to do what it can do in the show without having to be optional parts, where you have to actually have it one-in-one static or static piece as the Sparrow, and then as your actual Kusari size. And then, if I recall correctly, the Gash Hat is, I think, actually molded in, and it's not removable. So that is the only unfortunate aspect to your overall weapon. It's evaluation time, and for my final evaluation, S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Genm Zombie Gamer Level 10 is actually one of those figures where, for the Western or international audiences, you're disappointed that it was a premium Bandai web shop exclusive, and probably because now on the secondary market, it's almost $150, whereas if you bought it when it was getting sold through either online retailers or proxies, you could get it for almost $60 to $80. Now, that's practically doubled since then, and it is a disappointment. I understand, though, why Bandai and Tamashii Nations have been doing this now lately, is that they want to make sure figures are, in a sense, stocked and provided for the want and demand, and that's why they've been making certain characters exclusive these days. It's also due to the fact that at retail, Figuarts either haven't been doing greatly or good, unless they were like the Shinshoku Seihos, or specific anime characters, or specific reissues of older figures. However, I think that with what you pay for, you get what you deserve. You get a really well quality controlled figure. Its sculpt, its skeletal design is solid, and you're not really missing out on too much. I think the only flaws to this figure are the loose torso, or I should say the loose rider belt, the actual buckle driver, the fact that the eyes are, for some reason, not sculpted too well. That seems to be an issue with not just Genm, but the Paradox figures as well. And the other issue I have is mostly the Gashikon Sparrow. It just doesn't want to stay in the actual bow and arrow mold. It just doesn't like to stay firmly grasped and connected to each other with the little extender or locking mechanism that they put into it. Honestly, though, like I said, I think you get what you deserve if you got it at the basic $60 to $70 range for your Western fans, where if you were in Japan, you got it for about $50, maybe $30 to $50. Nevertheless, though, I think it's good, I think it's great, and I think fans will enjoy it. I just know that there are a lot of people who are drastically upset that they never got a good chance or now have the opportunity to secure this figure for their collections. Nevertheless, I'm Wheelchair21, and if you like Kamen Rider Genm Zombie Gamer Level 10 review or Level X review, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you've just recently discovered me, as well as follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.